Because South Africa has extended the Zimbabwean exemption permit to the end of this year. Yes, the grace period will give Zimbabweans working in the country time to migrate to other visas before the 31st of December. Ngqabutho Babena, chairperson of the Zimbabwe community in South Africa, joins us now to discuss this matter further. Thank you so much for your time, Ngqabutho. What make you of this now granted extension by the South African government to the 31st of December?
Thank you so much for having us in the studio. Firstly, let's congratulate the African National Congress on its 110th birthday. We recognize and we note that the South African cabinet has extended, not really extended, but given a grace period of 12 months until the 31st of December 2022. What this means is that those that are able to move to other visas should do so. What we are currently doing as an organization is to try and check how many within the 178,000 holders of ZEP are able to move. And the second thing which we seek to negotiate with government are the requirements in the main visas, because one of the challenging issues that we are facing is that part of the requirement is that holders of Zimbabwe exemption permit must have a Zimbabwe police clearance, which in the last 10 years was not a requirement. It is a new requirement now, because this is what the main stream visas demand. And we hope that the government will waiver that, because this will obviously delay. The second issue that we seem to be having challenges with is around the issue of the South African education certificate for educators that they are required to have, which is issued by the South African Council of Educators. And currently, teachers are struggling to have that certificate. So even if you have a 12-month extension, but if teachers are not in class, it's just as good as a permit not being extended. So these are some of the challenges that we are confronted with in our community.
Yeah, but then I'm sure you can appreciate, Ngqabutho, that South Africa is facing a point where there are illegal, and of course there's a difference now, they're illegal, undocumented foreign nationals in the country, and we need to be able to curb down on that, just that reality as the country. So from that perspective then, what advice would you give then to the South African government so that they can deal effectively with how many illegal foreign nationals are actually coming into the country undocumented and not being able to be accounted for? Because that in itself causes a certain discontent between major countries, including Zimbabwe and South Africa.
If we look into the letter that has been written by the Department of Home Affairs to holders of ZEP, one of the things that it speaks to are the challenges that the South African government was having in 2007 and 2008, and the introduction of the ZEP addressed most of those challenges in terms of in the Asylum application, as many people are applying for that. Now, we know that we have more undocumented Zimbabweans and other migrants in South Africa. So if you then do not renew the ZEP, you are adding those to already the thousands or so that are not documented. And the second challenge with the ZEP holders is that employers in general, they will prefer undocumented migrants in farming communities, domestic workers in the construction industry. We saw in the last 3 years, ZEP holders who have been taking their employers to the CCMA for better wages, for better working conditions. And when you then say ZEP holders, particularly of low skill, should not renew their permits, they are basically saying they should be laid off, which we understand, but the employer will employ an undocumented migrant whom they want to exploit. So these are the issues that we are raising with the South African government to an extent that we think in terms of managing migration, there must be, in terms of implementation of the white paper on international migration as gazetted in 2017, because to us, it gives a framework of managing migration within the region, particularly in South Africa.
Yeah, I mean, but then now what? Because obviously we've got a lot of people that are now scrambling to get their ducks in the row, their documents in a row. And just in terms of some of the sentiments that have been shared by Zimbabwean nationals living in the country and working in the country, what's been their thoughts on this?
Well, a number of people are having challenges to get the waiver, and there's a confusion in terms of defining what a waiver is. We've been doing videos, communicating with our community, explaining that But the reality is that those with no critical skills, even if they are professionals, be they lawyers, accountants, journalists, they will not qualify to apply for a general visa unless a waiver is granted by either the Department of Labor and the Department of Home Affairs, which at this case seems not to be happening. We are not sure, as the country is now opening after the holidays, in terms of the negotiations that will happen, whether the South African government will then waiver some of these requirements so that those who generally qualify for a general work visa, but we need a waiver for some of the requirements to be waived, will be able to do so.
Yeah. Tell me something around the political climate around this decision making. Do you think that it has anything to do with the state of relations between Zimbabwe and South Africa?
Well, we have taken a position that Zimbabwe must take responsibility. Because we have always maintained that without building a national democratic economy in Zimbabwe, without addressing the currency question, we will always have these challenges. And it is unfortunate that our neighbors are now carrying our burden or carrying our responsibility. You will recall that between 2009 and 2013, during the inclusive government, at least there was a stabilization in the economy. Would have continued with the inclusive government, but there appears not to be an appetite or willingness in the political leadership in Zimbabwe to engage. We should have continued with the government of national unity in Zimbabwe. Probably some of these challenges would have been addressed, but of course, we have an uncaring government in Zimbabwe. ZANU-PF is not willing to address economic fundamentals. Hence, we see the crisis every year at the Beitbridge border post, as we have been witnessing in the last few days.
So then, Ngqabutho, is it then not up to the persons and the citizens of Zimbabwe, the nationals, Zimbabwean nationals, to actually put pressure on the Zimbabwean government so that they care? I mean, we keep speaking about how the Zimbabwean government does not care. We see the realities of migration subsequent to that. But is it not time that the people of Zimbabwe stand up to their government and say, actually, not under our watch, you have to do what we say that you have to do as a citizen to represent us, otherwise we can take you out? Is there any way that the people of the Zimbabwe can actually own their own power, as it were, and take it back to the government and say, you are failing us as Zimbabwean nationals?
When Zimbabweans, young people, on the 31st of August, was it 1st of August 2018, did that, the military was sent in the streets, people were killed. You remember, former president of South Africa was invited to head a commission of inquiry. No one has been held responsible, irrespective, notwithstanding that the findings of the commissions are there. In January 2019, when Zimbabweans took power to themselves, workers organized themselves, they said, not in our name. The military again was sent into the streets and people were brutalized. So you have a citizenry that is unable to stand against the military junta, because when they do so, the military is sent into the streets. Elections have been rigged, not only in 2018, but since 2000, elections have been in Zimbabwe. And you know that the SADC observer missions have been giving a thumbs up to a rigged election in Zimbabwe. We know of brutality by the state in Zimbabwe. So Zimbabweans have came to a conclusion that even if they stand, no one will give them solidarity, to extend that there's now fear. The issues of Kukuraundi, which happened in the 80s in Matabeleland and part of Midlands, remain unresolved. When citizens are trying to resolve this, the president of Zimbabwe just in December says people want a second Kukuraundi. So you have a government that does not care. You have a military junta that is in power. And the question that we're confronted with is how to dismantle a deep state in Zimbabwe.
Ngqabutho Mabena, we'll leave it there for this morning. Thank you very much for your time, the chairman of the Zimbabwe community in South Africa.